Welcome back to the Michelle Toka podcast. All right, Grace is back from vacation because she took a week off, and how dare she? Welcome back, Grace. How was vacation?
Thank you. It was amazing. It's always nice to go away, from real life and just enjoy the time off. So we're back. I'm back. And yeah, it was great. As you can tell, I did what I'm not supposed to do. I laid in the sun and me and my daughter got burned. And then I'm like, why did I go get Botox? Because I'm just like in the sun and just
This
burn
is the
myself.
real life, people. We are not scripting anything. This is
That's
real
not
life.
scripted. When I'm 80, I'm going to be all plastic. Just saying.
This is like a phone conversation that you have with your sister or your friend. It's like off the cuff and it's like real. This is what we want to do. Today we're going to talk about confidence, and I think this is a huge topic, so we may not get everything in one episode, but Grace and I both are really passionate about helping women feel confident in their own skin, and each one of us has her own journey, but we have a couple things that we want to talk about, so we're going to go back and forth, but really when we talk about confidence comes from within. Okay, so it's really not what someone views on the outside, it's what you have on the inside that's being portrayed. Okay, so we're going to start off with Grace's experience on her trip, because I think it's really powerful. I think it's something that we all need to hear, because this is actually what I hear from women every single time when they start a fitness journey. And I think Grace will hit it on the nail. So Grace, tell us about vacation. Tell us about getting in a bathing suit, because this is real life.
Yeah. So when we were talking earlier, it just something popped in my head, right? And so when we talk about journeys, right? So I'm going to be 52 in a few months, a couple of months actually, May, but like it never ends. Like this inner work that we call it is forever. You could be 80 and you're doing inner work, right? Because I remember my nonna saying to me, like, I'm 80, but inside I feel like I'm 20 and I have the same issues, right? So like mentally, so it never ends. But it made me think of something. We're in a group chat with my sisters, and my resort, I felt like didn't have a lot of fruit and vegetables compared to what I normally eat. So I had sent them a text saying, oh my gosh, like I'm so bloated, I feel so fat, blah, 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 right? And Michelle nipped it in the butt. She's like, stop. And it's kind of like, remember who you are, right? And it just like took me out of that funk, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I remember who you are. But sorry, my dog here, my espresso machine's going off. So basically, and I said to my sisters and I said to my daughter, I'm going to be 52. And for the first time in my life, I didn't care what I look like in a bathing suit, right? And we all have our issues that we don't like, right? Like I've lost a lot of weight, so I have some loose skin where I don't want it, right? Like on my legs. But I didn't care. Like I didn't care. And not only did I not care, Beachbody was at my resort, and Super Trainers had a cabana right next to me, like Autumn Calabre's, Elise, right? And they have killer bodies, right? And I got up and I'm like, do you want to take a picture? And I'm like in my that day I had a bathing suit on. I don't normally wear a bathing suit, but that day I did have a full bathing suit on, and I took a picture with them. And I not once did I think, oh my gosh, like let me hide, let me let me put my cover on or whatever. I never thought that. I walked up and down the beach with my husband without a bathing suit cover on. And so it was good. Like it just kind of hit me like for the first time. And it's not about the working out and the eating healthy that made me do that. It's the mindset work that I did. Mindset, we just throw that word out there, but there was a lot of work that had to be done. And I want to say, there's a saying that says, you will never outperform your self-image that you have of yourself, deep-rooted in your subconscious mind. And it's so true. You don't change that subconscious mind, you will never outperform it. You will never outthink it. You will never nothing. You could say it consciously, like, oh, I feel good, I feel this. But you don't change it subconsciously. It won't change. It's just words.
And it's true. And I will say, when Grace sent me this picture, I was like, oh my God, like these are famous people I see on Instagram. I did not know that Grace was in the picture. Grace, I did not know that you were on the corner. I was like, who's that girl in that bathing suit? I didn't recognize you.
But you know what it is?
What?
It's confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I want to get to. Now, the reason is that Grace has gone through a multitude of journeys, okay? And we want to say, like, it's not perfect, okay? How many times have someone taken a picture of you and all of a sudden you're like, okay, let me see that picture before I post it. And you zoom in. Or something's scrolling on Facebook and you see someone and you're like, oh my God, let me see what they're wearing. And you zoom in because we're so fixated on the outside shell. But when someone's exuding confidence, it does not matter if they are size 0, size 20. It doesn't matter because confidence comes from within. If you feel amazing in your body, then rock it. It doesn't matter what size you are. So we want to understand is that you can lose the weight. You can. You can lose the weight. You can start eating well. But like Grace said, if you don't fix that subconscious mind of what your perception of yourself is, you're never going to feel confident. It doesn't matter what size you get to.
Now, the thing is, too, sorry to cut you off, like, that's going to be our show.
Yeah, Grace cutting, yeah, we're going to just say Grace Cutting Michelle Off is the new podcast name.
But
okay.
It's too, like, confidence comes from the inside work, right? Like, we call it self-image, you know? And actually, funny thing is, because I have a client call after this, and we talk about this word praxis, and you can look it up. It's praxis, Praxis, and it means praxis is the integration of belief with behavior. So again, it's what we're programmed to do. So when we talk about confidence, right? It's like, yeah, we lose the weight, but confidence again is like taking action. What made you confident? Okay, you started a business. That was scary. That was out of your comfort zone. You failed how many times? We always fail. To move forward, right? That brings confidence. Walking into a room where people are like, you know, have a higher education than you and you have to mingle with them. That's confidence because now you're out of your comfort zone and you have to do it. Going to the gym, into the weight room where you've never been around, you know, like I was a little intimidated on my trip where, you know, you go in and, you know, the guys go, you know, pumping the weights, right? And you're like, you're in your little corner. I'm like, no, I'm going to like, for a second, I kind of hesitated. Oh, maybe I won't do weights today. I'm like, no, who are you? Remember who you are. Like, and if I'm not going to go too deep into what I teach, but we are spiritual beings in a human body with a human experience. We have infinite potential. So we always have to remember who we are. And going back to confidence is like taking action and taking action on things that we're not comfortable doing.
Exactly.
That's what brings confidence. We could say we have confidence, but if we keep doing the same things over and over again, you're not growing and there's no confidence.
Exactly. And we're going to give you, okay, so we're both going to touch on a couple things that, you know, can help you. But I want to start off with some scenarios because these are things I hear all the time. And trust me, I've lived them. Okay, number one is that someone asks you, hey, let's go out to the bar or let's go for a drink. And you go through your clothes and you're in your closet and you're like, oh, I have nothing to wear. I feel disgusting. I don't want to go. Okay, number one. You don't have, obviously, we've been through this. Number two is that someone says, hey, listen, like, I'm going to start a new fitness program or I'm going to go for, you know, I want to sign up for this race. And all of a sudden you say, I don't run. I've never run. Like, I can't run. Oh my God, I don't do that. I used to be fit. Okay. When we put.
One thing I don't like at all is like, I used to be.
Yeah, used to be. It's just like a horrible.
Yeah. And I want to say too, for me, personally, and with my clients I've seen too, when I don't feel healthy, I lack confidence. I think health and mindset, they're combined, they're intertwined. You can't have one without the other. You really can't.
And it goes back to like, listen, it goes back to I don't want to say ancient times, but really it goes back to spiritual health, emotional health, mental health, physical. They all have to be in unison. For example, you could be super strong and super fit, but if your emotional wellness is plummeting and you are angry at the world, you're not going to be at peace and harmony. And our bodies want to be at harmony. If you are always lifting weights and you don't stretch, your body's going to be in disruption. It doesn't want that. It wants homeostasis. It wants balance, okay?
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to you, okay? I know some people, like my family don't like to stretch. But anyways, okay. Let's talk about action. Grace hit on the nail. When you say you don't like yourself or you don't feel confident, what actions are you doing to change it? I don't want to say the problem, but this is the rut that I feel women get into. They say, I don't like the way I feel. But you have to say, am I prepared to go and be uncomfortable and take action in order to get comfortable or to get
Well,
confident?
you have to be uncomfortable. One,
Yeah.
if you're not right now, look at your life.
Yeah.
If you are not uncomfortable in any areas of your life, you are not growing. When you are not growing, you're disintegrating. That's it. Right? If you're not growing in your business, you're not growing in your profession, you're not growing in your relationships, you're not growing in your health, you are disintegrating. We are meant to grow. That we are, as spiritual beings, we are meant to grow. We always want more. That is normal.
We're like,
We want
we're
more
like
health.
plants.
We want
Exactly.
more money. We want more confidence. We want,
Yeah.
right? So that's normal. What was the question?
There was no question, Grace. Like, okay, this is like talking on the phone with Grace. For anyone that's watching, when you talk on the phone with Grace, the conversation can be somewhere over here, and then 2 minutes later, she takes it over here.
Okay, I swear to God, I have ADHD, but my husband's like, why would you go pay $3,000 to get it checked? You're going to be 50 what? Who cares? It got you this far. But I forgot what the question was, but what I want to say is too, let's talk about as a woman, right?
Yeah.
You're not confident and you want to be this person. Say somebody looks at you.
Give me 2 action tips. Give me 2. I'll give 2 action tips, and you give me 2.
Okay, so one is you have to become her. You have to change your self-image. And the only way to change your self-image, one is what an emotional impact, right? That's where somebody say, you see someone, a family member dies, and all of a sudden they change, right? They change everything about them. An emotional impact or spaced repetition. So writing, I call it your life script. That's what I teach. So basically, say one of your clients, I'm going to give an example really quickly. I know on time, but they look at you and they're like, I want to be like Michelle. I want to emulate Michelle. So they have to start acting and being like Michelle.
Yeah.
So for an example, when I had worked at Deloitte, this partner, I was just like, she was a young partner and just so professional. I wanted to be her. So I started emulating her. I started changing the way I dressed. I wanted to dress like her. I started acting like her. So every time I spoke, I started being like thinking, okay, well, she uses like her hands, she would go like this and this. So I started to emulate her, right? So you can become the person you want to become, but you have to start emulating them, right? So number one, do that. Find somebody that you really look up to, like say in your health or your confidence, and take little pieces of that person. And not that you have to be that person, but you start emulating that person. Number two, you have to take action. Nothing happens if you don't take action. You have to get uncomfortable. Yeah. I just want you to think of your days. If you are not uncomfortable, you are not growing. It doesn't matter. You're not going to grow. So maybe like Michelle's doing her class and you're like, you know what? I don't want to do a push-up. I can't do a push-up. Okay, well, you could start on your knees, but like one day, just try to do one push-up. It's uncomfortable. Try to do one pull-up. It's uncomfortable. If you go to the gym or whatever you do, just anything. It could be so simple. Something uncomfortable. You never say sorry to your partner if you get in a fight. That's very uncomfortable. Yeah. So maybe take that action, right? There was something else. Yeah. So it was like, dress like the person you want to be, act like the person you want to be, talk like the person you want to be. Yeah. How does someone who has confidence act? How do they dress, right? What do they eat? Like everything. It's a whole combination of things, right? So that's very important. And just really remember, you will never outperform what is in that subconscious mind. Up to 7 years old, you were programmed. And all those beliefs are in there. You can talk. What do they say? They call it lip action. You can say whatever you want.
But if you don't believe it.
If you don't believe it, it won't change. It won't change. And the only way to change it is through action.
Absolutely. And to add to that, so my 2 things when I'm training women or if they want, advice, I say this. Okay, first of all, how you dress and how you perceive yourself and when you look in the mirror should be feeling good. Okay, for example, if you want to feel better and you want to wear lipstick one day and you're like, I'm just going to the grocery store, wear lipstick. If you feel most confident in tights and a t-shirt, rock it. But if you want to wear one day a dress, wear a dress. It doesn't have to be an occasion. when you dress to feel good, you automatically feel good, okay? During the pandemic, right, I started wearing lipstick. I didn't care. I never was wearing bold lipstick. But I was like, you know what? I'm home all day. I feel like I want to be wearing bright lipstick. I want to brighten my day. And it stuck. And now whenever someone comes to me, they're like, oh, Michelle, you always have the bold lipstick on. Because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel sexy. It makes me feel empowered. And yes, I love lipstick, right? No joke. The second thing is body positivity. Now, listen, we've touched on it right now, but you need to be okay in every size. Okay? It doesn't mean you don't want to work toward getting healthy and maybe changing your size. But you need to accept at the point where you are right now. Okay? If you don't accept the body that you are in right now, the body that gives you life every day, the body that keeps you moving, then you cannot go forward. You have to honor what you have. Now, that doesn't mean if you feel like uncomfortable and you're overweight and you feel like you can't fit your clothes and you don't want to maybe lose that and be more fit. It just means that honor where you are right now and accept the decisions you've made to get there.
Yeah, so I want to say too, really quickly, how you say like honor body positivity, what you think. So like your thoughts create your reality.
Yeah.
Your thoughts create your reality. And we talk about manifestation, and we'll do that another podcast.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Like when I was on my journey of losing 75 pounds, I literally saw myself as an athlete, even though I was 220 pounds. I couldn't even, like, I would start running from light post to light post because I couldn't, right? But in my head, now looking back, the image that I saw of myself, right? So when you look in the mirror, it's so important, like you said, to dress good because it makes you feel good. And when you feel good, your thoughts are different, right? So it's so
like, true. Like I, on a whim, signed up for a triathlon. Okay. Yeah. I'm not a swimmer. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did not have formal lessons since I was 5 years old, maybe 6. And I had one lesson at the city of St. Catharines, okay? So I just want to be clear. I literally, in my head, every time I'm in the pool, think that I am a triathlete. I bought the swimsuit. I bought a swim cap. I bought goggles. I bought all the swim gear. And you know what?
You became her.
I'm like, listen, I might not be them, but I feel good. And you know what? What Grace says works. Someone came up to me yesterday, and there's all different lanes. Slow, medium, fast. I'm always in slow because I'm honest with myself, okay? Now, this gentleman came up to me and said, oh, can I go beside you? This is the slow lane. I said, no. I'm in the slow lane. I got a really bum shoulder. I'm learning. He goes, you look like you should be in the fast lane. You look like an athlete. I was like, he goes, and that's a compliment. And I was like, well, thank you, sir. And like Grace said, bathing suits were off the list for me. But you know what? I don't even care. I even picked my wedge walking up to the pool deck. I was like, picking on my butt.
See, you're emulating what you want to become.
Yeah.
So we work in vibrations, and I know I have a client call, but we work in vibrations, right? So you are vibrating at this level.
Yeah.
So you're up here, right? So you're attracting. And when you vibrate to the person you want to become, you will attract everything you need to get there. So say you want, like when your clients want to get healthy, if they emulate that, they are going to attract everything they need to get there.
Exactly.
But only through action and vibration, right? So those things are very, very important.
Awesome. Listen, stay ladies, we're going to continue this conversation. This is a part 1 because there's so much to talk about, confidence, especially in women. That's what we're passionate about because we have real life experiences that we can offer.
We should also see if, like, maybe we can even do a class on self-image, see if there's interest.
Yeah, exactly. So the conversation is going to keep going. But thank you, Grace, for joining me today. Hopefully this offers you ladies, some hope that, you know what, listen, there's always a day one. There always is a day one. There's always start and stop. There's always a day one. Don't think that, you know what, oh my gosh, let's take that out of your vocabulary. You can be whatever you want. If I can be a triathlete, well, okay, if I can swim, okay, for 1,000 meters, hey, you can do it.
Yes.
You can do it.
Well, you know what, really quickly, and then I have to go.
Yeah.
Whatever comes out of your mouth is 10 times more powerful than what you think.
Ooh,
so like today or any other day, when you're going to say something negative,
Yeah.
really think about it because it's 10 times more powerful. And
I always say
then,
drown it with positive. One negative, drown it with 3 positive thoughts. Like sink it down to the deep end and put it there, and then eventually it's gonna wash away like a wave. The more
yeah,
positive you think, let the negativity wash away. Thank you so much for joining in today, and thank you, Grace. And we'll continue the
thanks, guys.
conversation. Ciao.
Bye.